Hello, my sunflowers. Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to read The Giggle Chamber. The Giggle Chamber is supposed to be a horror short story. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. They say every tragedy begins with someone laughing. That's how I open my statement. The detective gives me a look that lives somewhere between pity and paperwork. The room smells of burnt coffee, old carpet, and that faint metallic aftertaste you get when blood tries to pass as disinfectant. Amber light hums through the blinds. Dust hangs in the air like applause that forgot to stop. Relax, he says. Relax, 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 he says. You're not the one on trial. I give him a short customer service chuckle. You'd be surprised how often I hear that. He presses record. The red light blinks. A tiny accusation. Before the clubs and the crowds, there was a house where we never cried. Mom said tears made ghosts jealous, so we laughed at funerals, at breakups, at bills we couldn't pay. I was 5 when my father slipped on black ice. Mom stood over him and laughed so hard. Her voice cracked like the pavement under his head. That sound stitched something in me, a thread that never stopped vibrating. I learned early that laughter is cheaper than grief. It started, I tell him, with a chuckle. The club was called the Giggle Chamber. Bad omen, but a decent bar. Neon sputtered outside, casting red and blue across faces that wanted to forget their day jobs. Inside, the walls were painted black, but you could still see the water stains underneath, like old bruises showing through makeup. The mic smelt of nerves and mid-gum. That first night, someone cracked a joke about penguins or politicians, the usual sort. The crowd laughed in unison. People pleaser kind of laughter that says we're fine, honestly. Watch from the bar, nursing the warm beer. When the comedian left the stage, the applause died, but the laughter didn't. Fire, soft, at first, barely there. The bartender wiped down glasses and hummed along to it. Though it was the speakers, the manager checked the sound system twice, but I heard it clearly underneath everything. A chuckle didn't belong to anyone. I walked to the stage, empty now, just microphone stand and a stool with a wobbly leg. The laughter seemed to come from the floorboards, or maybe the walls. I touched the mic. It was warm. I don't know why the scream don't want to stay down. Behind the bar hung a yellowing poster from an old comedy tour in small print. share a punchline. I used to think it was clever marketing. Now I think it was warning. Warning. The detective tilts his pen. You're saying laughter spread. I'm saying it evolved. A week later, I was back on stage, a different crowd, same hunger for distraction. I told a story about my mother, about black eyes and cracked voices. They laughed nervously at first, unsure if it was allowed, then harder, and then too hard. A woman in the third row couldn't stop. Her friends patted her back, handed her water. She doubled over, gasping between convulsions. The laughter twisted into something else, something wet. She slid off her chair. Security carried her out, still giggling, tears streaming down her face. The audience watched, frozen. Then someone in the back started laughing. Then another. Within seconds, the whole room was howling. Not at my joke, but at her. I stood on the stage and felt it, that underneath the sound, that nervous laughed. It smelt of static and perfume testers, panic dressed in polite clothes. A man keeled over, mid-chuckle. At 6 o'clock news 2 days later, his chest still jolted when the paramedics zipped the bag. I smiled along when I saw it online. You have to. Silence gets you noticed. Didn't that strike you as odd? The detective asked. Everything's normal if it's popular. Then came the contagious laugh. It traveled quicker than rumor. People caught it on buses and lifts during moments of silence, so seemingly a stranger's grin could expand your lungs. The media, usually in agreement, called it the joy plague. Couples who hadn't spoken in months started wheezing together. Some posted pics in panic. Hashtag for better, for worse. Then waited for likes that never came, while the chuckles kept going. Teachers collapsed mid-lesson. Students smirked in the surprising silence. A funeral went viral when the priest slipped on wet grass. The mourners clapped for 5 straight minutes. The mayor live-streamed herself laughing for 6 when she finally gasped, "Please stop recording." No one did. The detective folded his arms. "And you, did you catch it?" "I was born within," he frowns. "What kind?" "The quiet one. The sort that looks like control. The one grief wears to work." He's hesitant. The tape hums. I call it the silent laugh. It sounds like relief, feels like drowning. It's what happens when a scream learns manners. I lean back in my chair. For the first time since we started, my hands are shaking. I press them flat against the table, but they won't stop. The moment right after the laughter dies, when your body forgets who it belongs to. Your lungs still remember the rhythm, your heart doesn't. That's where I live, in that pause. The detective watches my hands. I pull them back into my lap. He says nothing. Good silence is the only audience. He slides photographs across the table, mouth open mid-laugh, eyes all wrong. Recognize anyone? I point. That's the chuckle. Blue jacket. That's the nervous one. See her hands. And then That's the contagious one. Century frame. We ran facial recognition. He says, there's only one person in every photo. I smile, but it takes effort this time. You don't say. You were on stage. I was, so were they. He closed the folder. 48 dead. 48 set free. That's not funny. Neither was their laughter. A twitch flickers at his mouth. A single chuckle escapes. The mirror breathes back the sound, stretching it. He touches his throat and touched too late. You shouldn't laugh in small rooms, I whisper. This say the tape corrupted there. The laughter disordered into something liquid, and underneath was a whisper, help me. The report calls it mass psychogenic illness. TikTok calls it the laughing man of Block M. I call it feedback, the viral kind. They moved me to isolation where cars wear headphones that play rain. Doctors hum children's songs as they walk the corridor, and yet still their shoulders shake. They always pretend it's a cough. You want truth? They were all mine, every single one. The chuckle opened the door, the nervous filled the cracks, the contagious made sure everyone heard. The silence waited underneath them all. It wasn't joy, it was a need, a plea for someone to listen to grief without remixing it as comedy. Behind my eyes, scenes replay, and wandering visions, moonlight, confession rooms, shifting walls, shows that never end but change set each episode. You like them, detective, they're darkly funny. They send a new interrogator, young, fresh sort, who still believes empathy is sterile. He brings tea he won't drink. Do you feel remorse? Of course. Every time someone laughs, I hear it. He stops the recorder. Then what do you want? I lean close enough for my breath to fog the glass to hear silence again. He half laughs. A reflux, a habit that catches himself and leaves. The light flickers amber, then white, while dust floats like ghosts taking their unwelcome bows. I open my mouth, but no sound comes. Some laughter are better left unheard. The footage ends there. The side laugh. They built a storage loft above the interview room years later. Boxes of unsolved cases stacked beneath the same flickering light. Sometimes the guards swear they hear laughter from up there, soft, almost polite, like someone trying not to interrupt. They check once, found nothing but dust, and the faint smell of burnt coffee. Still no one stores anything there. They call it the loft room. Not a laughing matter really, unless you know the joke. And that is the end of that short horror story. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.